Hi, I'm Rob Streeter. I have been fly fishing for smallmouths for a long time. In fact, smallmouths are what I learned to fly fish with. As soon as I could drive, I went over about 5 minutes from the house. I have a wadable smallmouth stream, and I used to fly fish for smallmouths, dreaming of going to fly fish for trout someday. And now I just really value smallmouths just because they're an excellent species for fly fishing. The popularity of fishing for smallmouths is increasing, and it's increasing for a couple of reasons. There have been some really good folks like the Blue Line folks that have done some great videos on smallmouth fly fishing. And also our blue ribbon trout streams are getting more and more crowded, so more people are moving to other species, and smallmouths are a great one. Smallmouths are just a lot of fun to fly fish for. They hit hard, they fight hard, they are acrobatic aerial fish. It's really a great time fishing for them. This is my smallmouth pack. Not a lot. I mean, I carry one fly box for smallmouths, so you don't need, the myriad of flies that you need to fish for other species. You need basically 3 categories of flies. You need a topwater fly, a baitfish fly, and a bug fly. So let's start out with the topwater flies. These are my topwater. I use all gurgler style flies. My mainstay is this one. It's got gold colored estaz and squirrel tail and some crystal flash in the back, and that's what I use for about 90% of my smallmouth fishing. They also like a chartreuse fly, so I will make a chartreuse colored popper, and that works very well for me, and it's particularly effective if I've been fishing a section of the creek and I've caught a lot of them on my favorite popper and they're starting to wise up to it. Just switching colors will get them to hit. Another fly pattern that I use and I developed for my area is the river herring popper. We get an out-migration of baby herring from the spawning areas along the Schoharie and in the Mohawk River, and they swim out to the ocean in the fall, and that's a pretty good imitation of them, and the googly eyes give it a little bit of rattle. So those are my topwater flies that I use for smallmouths. And why do I only use the sheet foam flies? What happens with those sheet foam flies is they sit right in the surface film. So if a smallmouth rockets up below it and hits it, it's not going to pop it up in the air because there's that tension between the surface of the water and the sheet foam. So I get a lot more hookups out of the sheet foam flies, and it's something that they can crush. The hard-bodied poppers, a lot of times when that bass attacks them, they'll knock them to the side. So I've found that the sheet foam patterns are by far the best for smallmouths. So the next category you get into with them is they do eat a lot of bait fish. In fact, they eat a lot of baby smallmouths too. So I have a couple of patterns. I have a bigger pattern, and this one is my articulated jerk fly, and it is, just kind of a really silver shiny shad / herring looking fly that I use a lot. It moves really well in the water, especially on an intermediate tip. I also make it in a darker color, so I always have those with me. I have my own pretty simple sculpin pattern because there are sculpins over in the creek where I fish. I have 2 streamers, and lately I've been making these on stinger hooks, and I think I'm going to go to making all of my smallmouth streamers on stinger hooks because you get a much better hookup. But these flies are particularly effective early spring for me, either in the big river or in the area lakes when the smallies are in pre-spawn mode and they're just kind of staking out territory. Those flies work really well for me. I also have, and this one has become my favorite smallie fly, this one is the trilobal minnow. I love this fly. It uses trilobal fiber, which really is shiny in the water, and this one looks like kind of a wounded minnow. The last time I got out to smallmouth fish before I started bow hunting for the year, I threw this thing into a pool. I had like 6 to 8 smallies chasing it before one finally grabbed it. They really are attracted to that, and I think it's the flash from the trilobal. I also make a trilobal bugger. It's a woolly bugger style fly using the same fiber, and they definitely get a lot of attention out of the smallmouths. Smallmouths are also bug eaters, so there's a lot of big macroinvertebrates in a wadeable smallmouth stream. There's crayfish, there's Dobson fly larvae, there's other big like crane fly. Well, Dobson are crane flies, but there's other big insect species, and the larvae are in the stream. There's big mayflies, so they eat a lot of bugs. The bug they eat the most of is the crayfish. So no smallmouth box is going to be complete. This is the crawdaddy pattern that I tie myself, and it is really effective on smallies. Usually in the summer they go almost exclusively onto crayfish, usually in the hot weather months, July, beginning of August. This is another crayfish style pattern. This is a conehead grub. It's a grub style crayfish pattern. So you need some kind of crayfish. The Dobson fly larvae, I make an articulate dobby, and it's in 3 sections, so it'll articulate up and down, and that's a good pattern to imitate some of those bigger macroinvertebrates. They get kicked loose, and the bass know enough to eat them. Another way you can do something kind of similar. This is a mop fly, but it's made with a realistic looking mop material that looks like the real bugs in the stream. So that's another way of imitating the bugs. The final fly that I always want to have in my smallmouth box, is a big white mayfly, because some of the streams will get, and even some of the lakes will get, a hatch of the white flies. And when those are hatching, the smallmouths are all over them. They're really big mayfly. They burrow. They're in a soft bottom like we have in the river. And if they're there, you want to have that. But those are my basic smallmouth patterns. If you've got that, and you can do it all in one box of flies, you have everything you need to fish for smallmouths, and you'll have a lot of fun. So if you've never done it and you want to go out and fly fish for smallmouths, these are all my patterns. You can find commercial patterns available that are going to match or are going to be pretty close. But you want to look at those 3 categories. You need topwater poppers. You need a couple different baitfish imitations. Crayfish flies, you want to have a couple different imitations of those. And then maybe some of the other oddballs like the Dobson fly and the white mayfly. If you got that stuff, you are good to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. We continue to grow. We're glad to have everybody along. If you have any comments, I get back to everybody. So thanks for watching. Your way, bud. And he's ready to go.
There he goes.